And when you think about the way companies generate shareholder value, you've got three basic levels. There's revenue, there's margin, and there's innovation. So revenue is obviously figuring out ways to grow revenue, increase the volume of revenue. Margin is how you produce revenue at a lower cost, and innovation is how you innovate products to enable future revenue generation. Underneath that, you have the different functional areas of the organization, from sales and marketing, R&D, manufacturing, distribution, and all the back office operations, shared services, call centers, etc. So with that context, when we think about the drivers behind locating these facilities, sales and marketing is driven by getting people into an area, access to a revenue-producing area to help that revenue growth. Labor is really not such a critical consideration there. It's more around deploying proximate to your customers. But then when we talk about headquarters, headquarters location decisions are very much driven by talent and tax considerations. And it's for many of the reasons that Saskia introduced just a little bit earlier, why you see such a high level of interest in Switzerland and Zurich for, say, headquarters operations. Most oftentimes you're looking for a good regulatory environment, you check the box there, and then you're obviously looking for the talent with certain levels of competency and expertise, and the ability to actually attract and retain that talent, oftentimes from beyond your country borders, or from even within your country into an area that's considered desirable for a very sophisticated knowledge worker who may or may not be bringing family and relocating for, again, I think what we heard is long term. So the talent from a headquarters perspective, we've seen organizations very happy with that, and the ability to actually extend offers to individuals who may be in other areas of Europe or beyond Europe, and the acceptance rate for relocation into Switzerland and Europe at the time is very high. Now moving to manufacturing, you've got kind of two components to this. What I like to kind of categorize manufacturing, you've got high margin products and low margin products. For high margin products, you again have a very, very strong value proposition in Switzerland and the Zurich area, because you have the tax considerations that enable companies to retain those earnings and not see them eroded as a result of tax liability. And then you obviously, in combination with those kind of investments, you're looking for that right kind of talent. And when you look at the industry concentration or the economic base in the Swiss area and Zurich area, you find that a lot of the workforce now has evolved into supporting high-margin industries, biopharma, devices, and other industries like that. So again, talent in combination with the other factors that we're talking about or introduced around the tax and other capabilities come into a pretty significant factor in location decisions there. As you move then through the balance of the organization, the inverse of what we're talking about becomes also very important. And you're kind of heading in the other direction. You're not looking for oftentimes communities with high GDP, high salaries, high wages. You're actually looking for the opposite. And so we would expect to see labor in that context not be one of the more attractive considerations of the Swiss market and, say, Zurich. It's quite the opposite, where a lot of that investment is moving out into the low-cost country platforms. Eastern Europe supporting Western Europe, Asia supporting the US, and other things. So talent, to kind of sum up that statement, talent is very, very important when we're talking about high-value added processes and high-skilled labor when it comes to supporting industries that, in this particular case, are likely going to be high margin.